How to move more boldly in the world. Oh, wow. I have so much to say about this topic, and I have a whole bunch of cue cards for you this week. And this is really dedicated to anyone who's out there, a creative soul who's really trying to make an impact in the world, whether it's through their art, whether it's through how they're being of service, whether it's through how they're showing up in their workplace, or maybe you're just trying to move bolder in your relationships and in your community. This is something that I'm always working on in my life, and especially lately, I've been trying to push those preconceived limits to move bolder. And I feel like I've been taking some big strides. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've been working on in my own life, and maybe it'll resonate for you and inspire you to think of ways that you can incorporate these tiny little things that make such a big difference in how we move boldly. So here's the first one. Create things before you're ready. This, especially for artists, is so important. We will often kind of get stuck in not wanting to push further because we feel like we need to get better skills, or maybe we need to understand the software better, or maybe it's, using a new medium for painting, whatever it is. We will often hold back thinking that we have to feel ready for it. And that's just not the case. We've got to create boldly before we feel ready, because that's what's going to push us past our comfort zone. Next one. Take creative risks. So how this applies to music especially is I will work with clients who are trying songwriting for the first time. Maybe they're a classically trained musician and they're not feeling like they're, that skilled songwriter that's able to write their own songs. And I remember that time in my own career. I had just turned 30 and I had never written any of my own songs. I was classically trained flutist, and it was like, I can't write my own songs. I don't know how to do this. But funny enough, I just kind of got pushed over the edge to take some creative risks and to experiment with the guitar, experiment with singing. And before I knew it, I was able to record my first small album, my first EP. So it works. Just take those risks. Try, painting in a different medium. Try writing in a different genre. Try a different instrument. There's so many different ways that we can take that creative risk. Here's another one. Take imperfect action. Yeah, so this is, perfectionism really kills creativity. And if we wait for everything to sound perfect, especially I'm working on a new album right now, and if I waited until all of these songs were, in my opinion, the best I could ever create them, well, I probably would never release this music, ever. So yeah, it's okay. It's okay to have those imperfections. And as my producer tells me all the time, it's like those wrong notes in the parts, when I crack a flute note, or when, my voice isn't exactly the right nuance that I want it to be. Well, that's what creates the human element of the recording. We need to have that human element in order to connect with other people. Create consistently. Discipline is bold. Yeah, so consistency is a huge part of being able to move bolder in the world. The more we're able to really show up for ourselves and prove to ourselves that we're developing our foundation, that we really have an established sense of our craft, of, what we're trying to put out in the world, then through being consistent with that, we build trust within ourselves, and we can start to believe in ourselves more. And through that consistency, it helps us feel safe to make those bolder moves happen. This is a great book, actually. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Oh gosh, how many times do we feel completely stuck, right? Almost like frozen in those headlights. and like are so scared to try that new thing. It just feels so scary. I even had an experience of that this week where I was just feeling frozen, and I didn't want to like reach out to people who I knew if I just had the courage to reach out to them that I would create that momentum that I needed. And funny enough, finally one day I just got so fed up with how much I knew I was holding myself back from being scared that I just did the thing. I just reached out, and oh my gosh, like the most amazing momentum and the most amazing just forward movement happened in my life because of it. So feel that fear. It's actually, it's one of those things like whenever we're kind of like pushing past those comfortable boundaries, when we're really aiming to grow and to expand, it's always going to feel scary. And this is another one I have to remind myself about. Rejection equals redirection. And that is so true, right? When we do make those bold moves happen and maybe we hear crickets, we just don't get any response at all. Or maybe, there's a whole bunch of rejection emails happening in our inbox. Whatever it is, when those moments happen, if we can not take it personally and just go, wow, okay, this is an opportunity for redirection. Where's it going to take me next? And be curious about that. And with curiosity, which is so great for creativity, it's also being open to what's possible. And what do I mean by that? It's like, here's a perfect thing. If I think to myself, okay, I'm going to have 10 flute students next year, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, oh man, I just don't even know what's possible in today's financial climate. We're hearing about all these horrible things about an upcoming recession, like how are parents ever going to be able to afford flute lessons? Do I need to lower my rates? All these fears that we start to think about. And it's like, what if we could just open ourselves up to what may be possible? So here's a way I would explain it. I would be like, it's possible that by next April, I'm going to have a flute studio of 10 students. It's possible that by next year, I'm going to have a whole bunch of opportunities for keynote speaking. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's all about, can we really be open to believing what's possible for ourselves, even if we don't have proof that that is possible? If we can just believe it's possible, then we're getting somewhere. And moving boldly also requires us to take up space in the room, take up space in the conversation, take up space in decision making, and part of that is like sharing our gifts in the world and not feeling like we're, being arrogant to share our gifts. I don't think you think I'm arrogant to be sharing this video right now with you, but it's a bold move for me to take up this space on YouTube to actually, say to the world, actually, what I have to share matters. Does that mean that I'm taking up too much space? Probably not. Probably one of you is actually feeling like this video is really helping you to explore some things that you want to work on inside. So take up that space, share your gifts. Honest and clear communication. This is a big one too, and I'll share a story about that I had an experience of last week. I realized at this point in my recording project, I was working with an audio engineer that I just wasn't jiving with, and it had nothing to do with who they were. It had nothing to do with their abilities as an engineer. It just creatively didn't feel like the right choice to keep moving forward with this person in the project. And man, oh man, I was like so nervous to have this conversation. It felt too bold for me. I was worried about how this person was going to react. I was worried about how it would stall my project. Just all of these different things, But I said to myself, I've got to do this. This is how I can move more boldly in the world, is to really speak up for what I believe in and to really focus on my vision for this project. So I had that hard conversation, and funny enough, I call it hard, but it wasn't hard. It was scary, but it worked out to be a beautiful result. And so yeah, I can definitely attest to that. You know, clear communication is so important. If we want to show up boldly, we have to communicate clearly with the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. So another one is spending time with people who are doing what you want to be doing. Why not take up that space and create that opportunity to surround yourself with people who really inspire and empower you? Maybe they really believe in your gifts and they see your possibility. Maybe you're just like wanting to soak up all of the things that they're doing like a sponge, and surround yourself with all of that. That's going to help you take bolder moves in your life because you're going to see what's possible for them. I mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again. Share your work in public. And that may mean whatever platform online you want to be sharing it. Don't think that you have to be at a certain level to be able to share your expertise, your gifts, your ideas. Anytime you want to share what you're feeling inside and you know, working on it, that's a great thing. And it's, you just never know who it's going to inspire. And I love this, so I'm just gonna do it for you. Follow your weird. One of my flute students last week totally helped me realize this. You know, here she is. She's like this amazing artist, 8 years old, and she's got this gift for visual arts, and she is like so talented with it. And she was like drawing me a picture of this dragon, and she's like, "That's a funky dragon. You're a funky dragon." And then at one point she's like, you also are sometimes a fish. And she's like just coming up with all these really cool things. And she's not thinking to herself, "Oh my gosh, my teacher's going to think I'm too weird." No, that's just what we do as adults. Let's embrace our weird, right? It's like who makes us who we are, like, or what makes us who we are. You know what I'm saying? It's like, follow your weird. It's the coolest thing ever. And with that, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. You have a special gift to offer the world, and your gift is so needed in the world, and only you can give it in the way that you share it with the world. So please believe in yourself. And if you don't, reach out to me and I'll share some love bombs with you to help you believe in yourself. But more importantly, find opportunities to affirm to yourself, "I am special. I am a gift in this world." And, you know, one of the things I encourage my clients to do is like, look in the mirror, look at yourself and just be like, if I was talking to myself, "Rozalind, you're awesome. You're such a gift in this world." Come on, if I can do it, you can do it too. Because more bold actions really expand your safety zone. What I mean by that is like the more bold actions I take, like I make it a goal. I actually journal about it every morning where I write about one bold action I'm going to take that day. And then, you know, it feels scary every single time. But every time that I actually take that bold action and I write about it later, it's like I feel so proud of myself, and it helps me push that safety zone a little bit further. Then I can take a bolder move. Then I can take a bigger risk. And each time I really explore that, it just helps me get further and further. And this is something I've learned too. Boldness creates momentum. It will create momentum in your life as you really focus on taking those bold actions. It's going to create that momentum that you might be wishing for. And then her last card. Celebrate your bold moves. Make sure you're journaling about it. Maybe you have like something that you love to celebrate with when you've accomplished something really cool. Like for some reason, every time that I achieve this bold move, it's like a bubble bath is like so amazing, or to making my favorite cup of tea. Maybe it's even, getting a snack from the local bakery, or going on a beautiful hike because I've finished that big thing that I was scared about. Whatever it is for you, make sure that you acknowledge it. Those small, big wins are like, when you acknowledge that, that's going to help you really convince yourself that you're going somewhere. And that's really huge, right? And when we can acknowledge like that we're really working on this, it's amazing how much more we can attract of that in our life. I hope this helps you. I know I've stuttered a whole bunch this week, but I don't care because I'm embracing my weird and just sending you so much love. Move boldly in the world. We need you, and your ideas do matter, and everything that you put your heart in and really believe is possible is definitely going to happen for you. Sending you so much love. Mwah.